Hello and a very warm welcome to you. This of course is ZigWheels, your one-stop shop for everything automotive. I'm Rishamatharu and it's a windy day out here in Lavasa, and we've got a very interesting lineup of cars, bikes and a bit of future tech for you on this show. So why don't you check out what's on the show.
Volvo's S60 is here. The turbocharged petrol version gets the shakedown. Then there's no horsing around on this one. Vikram Gaur heads to Jodhpur looking for some answers. Next-gen concepts see the light of day. We check out Vistian and 3M's concepts for the auto market, as well as welcome an Italian to Indian shores.
The Cruise is only available for sale in India with a diesel engine, whereas
Of course, Adil is here with all the answers to your queries. And racing action doesn't get hotter than this. All the F1 action from Malaysia.
Well, quite an interesting lineup that we have for you on the show, but let's kick things off, of course, with this Swedish orange beauty. This, of course, is Volvo's all-new S60 sports sedan, and it's here to give competition like Audi, BMW and Mercedes a whole load of sleepless nights. Check out what I mean. Swedish car maker Volvo has been at the pioneering forefront when it comes to safety features. In fact, as the old saying goes, there's a little bit of Volvo in every car. Now, however, Volvo's sales have not been doing as well as its competition, and that's probably been down to the fact that its designs have been more plain Jane or more staid in comparison to the competition. So Volvo went up a notch and decided to ramp up its naughty quotient and come out with this stunner of a car, the S60. So I'm going to go and take it out for a spin and see what it has to offer.
Look as long as you want. It's quite a looker, isn't it? The orange may take some time getting used to, but for a standout car, it's definitely a standout color. Now check out those leaf lines. Head on, the first thing that'll get your attention is of course the trademark Volvo snout and those funky lights that surround it. It's unlike any Volvo ever, but still retaining that classic Volvo DNA. You'll also notice a number of sensors mounted behind the windshield that help this Volvo to be as safe as any other in the history of the company. From the side, those clean lines flow all the way to the back. No cleaves or sharp lines running across. Just simple and clean, yet a sporty flow all the way back to that attractive rear. Pitted against the likes of its good-looking competition, it's a car that can hold its own. Now step inside, and you'll expect that nice design theme on the inside too. However, it's not as sporty as the exterior. It's spacious, no doubt, but that apart, there's nice leather bits in the steering wheel, brushed aluminium inserts in the central console, something that's also incidentally angled very neatly towards the driver. The fascia could do with a little more spunk to go with the exterior, but in terms of ergonomics, it's spot on. As expected in this class of cars, has a nice sunroof and a great sounding sound system with controls mounted on the steering. Fire it up and you barely hear anything inside the well-insulated cabin. Roll off and the engine immediately gets your attention. Not for anything else, but for the way it responds to you.
Well, the engine and gearbox on the S60 is what really give it that naughty, sporty attitude. It's got a 3.2-liter inline-six turbocharged petrol that pumps out 304 horsepower and 440 Nm of torque. Now, those are heavy figures on paper by itself, but what this car does on the road with that is absolutely phenomenal. The throttle response is mind-numbing. It's just dab and go. And that's, of course, aided by the fact that it's got a 6-speed Geartronic automatic transmission with power shifting. It's got 3 modes: drive, sport, and manual. Drive mode is far more tame. It's for more city driving where you don't really need instantaneous throttle response. But when you do need instantaneous throttle response, all you got to do is shift it into sport mode, and the car just revs a lot higher. The upshifts are later. There's just a whole load more power to play with.
All that good stuff amounts to some serious numbers too. 0 to 100 comes up in 7.19 seconds, with the car taking just 15 seconds for the quarter-mile run. Quite simply, way better than the competition.
Now, this S60 is really a ride to drive. It's got an all-new chassis that's been developed especially for this car, and that alone makes it unlike any other Volvo that you've probably ever driven before. Added to that, of course, is the fact that it's got ASC, or Advanced Stability Control, which basically monitors the car's movements when you're going really high speed, when you're going into really high-speed corners, and it manages to stabilize the car in terms of the amount of lateral movement that's happening through the corners. It's also got corner traction control with torque vectoring, and what that does is basically controls the amount of understeer when you're doing really high-speed cornering.
Of course, it's a Volvo, and in true Volvo fashion, it's decked to the gills with safety gadgets and gizmos. There's Bliss, that helps you spot blind spots in your rearview mirror. Active pedestrian safety that tells you when there's a pedestrian in front of the car that you need to look out for. In fact, the car also brakes automatically under 36 kilometers per hour just to ensure that nothing goes wrong. And it'll watch over you and the odd pedestrian for every kilometer you drive. And those kilometers will add up, considering the fuel tank holds 90 liters of juice and gives an average of 9 kilometers per liter. Considering the amount of power this car churns out, that seems to be a very acceptable number.
So, well, how do I really sum up this S60 from Volvo? Now, it's a great looking car, no doubt. Sporty, it's dynamic, it's great to look at from the outside, it's great to be inside. The engine, the gearbox, the chassis all work well together, they complement each other, and what you get is a really good all-rounded package. Now, for a car that's going to be priced around 35 lakhs and competing with the likes of Mercedes C-Class, the BMW 3 and the Audi A4, Volvo has got a great package for starters, but what is also going to aid its ability to sell well and sell numbers in the Indian market is, of course, its brilliant safety features that are Volvo standard. So now, while the car is a great package, all that's left is to see what kind of numbers it helps Volvo pull. Well, Swedish car maker Volvo, they're clearly speaking a whole new design language for this new decade. But with that, it's time for a quick break. When we come back,
After the break, Vikram Gaur gets a heady mix of horsepower. And Visteon and 3M unveil their concepts as well as the launch of a major Italian marquee.